Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. I hope you're having an amazing day. I want to take another look here at Loopring. I was asked to cover this more so recently, just kind of get a perspective on big picture best practice, see what's going on, but also, hey, what's going on here with Loopring? Is it back on track with this nice pump that we saw here today, or is it just kind of not a big deal? Well, truth be told, there was some kind of funding scam that I heard. Again, I can't fully verify this. I'm not really up on the news, but I can tell you that there was obviously a fundamental catalyst that caused the price action to increase. That being said, when we look at this here today, we got to just kind of take that into consideration, but also understand best practice and again, big picture for Loopring. So taking a look at that, of course, just before we jump in, well, I'm not a financial advisor. I just love teaching people how to trade. Hope you can learn something here today. That's my goal. My passion is to help you become better traders. Been trading for over 16 years, and I can tell you I've learned a thing or two here today, and every single day since I started trading. And I can tell you it's always a learning experience. You always got to be open and fresh for new ideas. And you always want to look at both sides of the spectrum too, because there's always an upside and a downside. Try not to get stuck on just being a bull or a bear. It doesn't work very well. That being said, Loopring here, big picture here, it's kind of not terrible, but also not great. In other words, we're getting tested and rejected here of the 50-day simple moving average, and the 200 is trailing above, of course, the price action. So you can see the 200 worked as a strong resistance here, and now tentatively a resistance here as well. I say tentatively because the 50-day SMA isn't like a definitive line in the sand. It helps us understand, the overall sentiment, because again, it's taken the last 50 days of data and telling us what the average price should be. Or below that average price. So you would hypothetically think that's a good value, right? Not always, but that's, again, the consensus. That being said here, we're underneath both the moving averages, so roughly 92 cents is a strong key level resistance. Getting a break above that would be extremely important, because you can see on the RSI, we're also struggling to break above that in the last 11 days straight. So we've basically been holding under 50 on the RSI for some time. So a clean break above that, just say a close about, just say 93 or higher, would probably put us right above 50 on the RSI. It put us above that key level resistance, which we've seen to be a resistance in the past, and currently the last 7 days of trading hasn't passed that point yet. And all in all, you could see that this is kind of almost the bottom for Loopring though, because when you think about it, look at how well it's holding this line here when Bitcoin has effectively been decreasing in value. I mean, Bitcoin is down about 5% in the last 7 days, where Loopring is just kind of ranging right here in between 82 and 92. So that's kind of a positive sign if you think about it. Again, something to acknowledge, just a bit, kind of something to think about. Okay, looking at the 4 hour here, we can obviously see that sharp momentous move up here, and of course retracement in the last couple of hours perhaps. We're above 50 on the RSI, which we haven't seen in quite some time. So what I'm speculating here, this could happen, and you see this happen a lot, is when the price breaks above 50 on the RSI, it'll come back down to potentially test and bounce. So I'm not saying that we're going to get a significant push run up, but I am telling you that that's probably enough volume to get us over the edge to effectively be able to maintain higher lows and higher highs. Again, potentially. We're not there yet. We don't have enough data, but generally speaking, we're not looking terrible in that sense. We're back up over the 50-day SMA as well, which could and should work positively. Again, a lot of different schools of thought there on the moving averages, but those are just traditional indicators that a lot of industry leaders will be using, and they're more standard in the general sense of things. So understanding of the 50 and the 200 I think is important. Some other folks also use the 100. I don't use it as consistent though. That's fine, nothing wrong with that. So taking a look here at the 1 hour, let's go ahead and just go ahead and acknowledge the elephant in the room here. We came down to a 9 essentially, had a tremendous amount of downward momentum, came back up to get a tiny reset and went right back down to a 5. So generally speaking, a lot of selling pressure here, but once again, not a tremendous amount of volume. Okay, so with this reintroduction of volume here, that's a kind of little push in the right direction, so to speak, could stimulate it enough to get us back up above that key level resistance of 92. Again, could is the key takeaway here, because that's a lot of volume in a very short amount of time, and that causes potential problems in this general sense of the fact that we should expect the price to continue to maintain a retracement until it finds its bottom. Now, hypothetically, its bottom should be right here where the price is at about 90 cents. What I mean by should be is if you take the most recent high, this is kind of a common practice, take the most recent high, the price in which the price came up to its highest point recently before it broke through there, and that's now going to be considered to be a potential support. So if we have any potential support here outside of 92, which we've already lost, then we have the only other potential of 90 cents to hold us in place. If we can get a close above 90 cents today, that would be very, very positive. Okay. Again, that would essentially be establishing a new higher low and effectively a new higher high as potential recourse. Okay, so again, good stuff there in that sense. 1 hour is looking decent. This is not a phenomenal scenario because you know me, or if you've watched my videos, you'll know that I like healthy staircase patterns. You know, where you get the price to come up and over, up and over. Parabolic movements, honestly, I don't like them at all unless you have a take profit target already in place. Or multiple targets, which I always recommend. We always send out signals with 3 targets or more in my trading community, and I can tell you that it's much better to have that position and ready. But generally speaking, a parabolic increase is not really helpful because again, it breeds this retracement, and sometimes it creates this unnecessary volatility. So again, this is not positive by any stretch. I do not love this. But as long as we can close above 90 cents today, I think that it would work out favorably because it reintroduces volume, gets more people interested in Loopring again, and then there's potential for the price to continue to maintain a higher price point. Just know that this coin is highly subject to fundamental catalysts, things that kind of push the price action out of nowhere based on speculative news and or official news too, of course. GameStop, the whole 9 yards. All those things are kind of tied in together. So stay up on your Reddit posts if you want to kind of get an edge essentially for Loopring. But from a technical standpoint, until we get above 90 cents or more so 92, we're not going to be really in a great position to allow for this momentous push, this increase in volume today to maintain itself. Again, pumps lead to dumps, and we're going to see how hard this can dump. If it can continue to maintain over 90 cents, I think it's a good, strong start. Okay. All right, so we'll pay attention to that. Keep a close eye on it, of course. Thanks again for joining me here, and we'll go ahead and take a look at this here again soon. I look forward to getting to know you better. If you're not currently a community member, consider joining. CryptoCache.tech is the website. Link in the description below. I do look forward again to just getting to know you better, working with you, and hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you in the next one.